One of the most concerning things you can hear someone say in an addiction is, I just need to be alone. One of the most positive things you can hear someone say in recovery is, I just need to be alone. The difference between isolation and solitude is significant. Sometimes the similarities can cause us to conflate the two and not understand or even deceive ourselves into thinking one over the other. I want to talk about that today. My name is Bo Boyd. I've gone through recovery through much of my life. At 46 now, I've been sober since 2013. I spent a good portion of my early life in isolation, in addiction. I've suffered job loss, divorce, estrangement, health issues. I've been incarcerated, homeless. I've been in rehab programs. And I work with men in recovery, and I have for a few years now helping them find success and find some hope in the things that they're dealing with. I am not a therapist. I am not licensed. Nothing I say is to replace or does not constitute as therapy. If you are in a difficult situation, please seek help. You are important. Take care of yourself. What I want to do is just talk about things that I've learned and thoughts that I have, things that have helped me and have helped others. When I was younger, I had a very difficult life in one sense. There's plenty of people who've had much worse than I have. I've worked with some of these people. My heart is broken for some of them. But I was very isolated. I was bullied a lot. I was shy, introverted, quiet. I had a pretty rough family situation. There was a lot of aggression and hostility and absenteeism, as my family, who were great, great, wonderful people, but everybody was battling their own demons. And I spent a lot of time alone. In fact, I remember I was in this inpatient rehab program, and the first year I went through the program, and it was specifically just for me, as someone in the program working through my addiction and my struggles. But the second year, I continued doing that, but I also served as a counselor to help other men in the program. And I was still technically in the program. It was a great opportunity, one of the best things ever done in my life. And I remember in the first year, you spend a lot of time looking at the negative, the dark things, the things you've struggled with. You really kind of explore a lot of those root causes. They can be very uncomfortable in that we tend to hide and suppress, which is often what leads to addictive tendencies and behaviors. And the second part, you don't do that as much. You tend to look more on the other side. Now, unfortunately, by the way, this program is no longer available. They have changed some of their licensing. It was no longer bound out in Georgia. Wonderful program. Highly recommend it. If you or anyone is struggling, please consider the value of something like this. Definitely life changing. But we were working through something with a counselor, and the goal at that time was talk about a positive childhood experience, something that you remember fondly. Now, if for anyone who knows me, and I know many of you don't yet, but I tend to be very lighthearted and very happy individual these days. I wasn't always. I'm in a much better place. But my happiest memories were playing with my dogs. We always had dogs. I love dogs. If you see me around a dog, you will see me revert to a 5-year-old uh, playing with my dog. I love dogs when I didn't feel like I had anyone, and when I was in some really dark places. I had dogs that were the only ones that felt happy to see me. And I know there's a lot wrapped up in that. Again, I'm not trying to cast any aspersions or blame on family. Everyone was dealing with their own things. But I love my dogs. And I kept talking, I kept answering the question, I remember, playing with my dogs, or my dogs were happy to see me. Or when I'd come home from school, just, down and being bullied, and it was really brutal and it was prolonged. My dogs would be happy to see me, and sometimes they were just a lifesaver in many ways. I think that was a gift from God. I really do. And he kept trying to push me to say, well, no, other experiences. And I didn't have any that could really compare to what I remember. Now, of course, this was a long time ago. Perhaps I was suppressing something. It's really hard in that situation. We didn't eat dinner together as a family. If we did go out anywhere, which was extremely rare, I only have a few vague memories of that. It turned into a very hostile, verbally, by the way. I don't even mean verbally, just aggression, and there was some substance, some alcoholism going on as well. And so the memories were always hiding, always isolating. And the counselor said to me, he said, just the dogs? I said, yeah, just the dogs. And he said, well, that's really sad. Yeah, no kidding, Sherlock. That's I'm in rehab. This isn't the Oscars or something. But the point is valid. I spent a lot of time hiding and isolating, and the reason that I did that and have done that through other points of my life, and why a lot of people do that, is being alone is something that we naturally crave, we naturally need to some degree. You've got introverts, you've got extroverts, you've got ambiverts, you've got all these erts and berts and verts, and whatever you think about that or what that even means, they seem to redefine, uh, time and again what that truly means, what that truly is. I think in some sense we're all a little bit of both, but I also think that it can look different ways. It is a very fascinating um, thing to think about. But we all need social interaction to a point. We all need alone time to a point. And isolation and solitude differ significantly. They are both being alone, and so it can be easy to mistakenly conflate the two. Isolation is running from something, and solitude is running to something. And isolation, we're withdrawing, we're hiding, we live in this recurring loop of feeling alone, uh, leading into addiction, withdrawing from family and friends, feeling alone, leading into addiction, withdrawing from family and friends. It's a way to feel some kind of vindication. I used to feel when I was alone, my thoughts, I could turn anything logical. I could defend anything. I didn't need to be what anyone else wanted me to be. And it was very unhealthy for me. It led me down some very dark paths. I became a very aggressive person. I was, like I said, in and out of jail, made a lot of mistakes, and led me down that path. And then even as an adult, isolation is something that can happen, more and more so for men. It is statistically true that men tend to struggle with loneliness and addiction more, and there's various reasons for that. This concept of the lone wolf, of never, or people won't understand, of not being able to be honest or talk about how you feel, fear of judgment. A lot of those things, there is judgment out there that people will judge. And so we do this. So, in fact, there was a very short period of time when I was a reservist in the Navy. I was pursuing the chaplaincy program. Unfortunately, I had to withdraw. I have severe spinal stenosis, and it led to addiction, abuse. I was being prescribed medication, and the pain was so bad. And there's other things going on in life, obviously, that I started to lean more and more into it. This was 2010, 2010 or 11 or so. I ended up going to a rehab out in 2013, and very grateful for it. But I really wanted to serve and to help people out, really represent the Lord. My heart was for the Lord. Just really had a lot of things that I was struggling with and hadn't really worked through. And it's easy at that point too to justify. When I was younger, I was using street drugs, and this isn't the insidious reality of addiction, as it can really sneak in. And it's easy to say, well, these are prescribed, so this is okay, and I could deal with that. But it wasn't. It wasn't at all, and I take full responsibility for that. Again, it was one of the best things that I did. But one of the things that we struggle with is, in the military and Navy, chaplains work with Navy, Coast Guard, and the Marine Corps. And so we did a lot of training, worked with a lot of them, and it was frustrating to see how. And I'd like to think that the things change over time, and that there's a better understanding of mental health for men. But at the time, someone would be mocked if they had any kind of depression or any kind of issue. You just had to be this tough warrior, soldier, marine, name, well, obviously not soldier, marine, but whatever you were doing, you it was self-incrimination and it was external. And it was frustrating for me and a few of us that were trying to work with people and help people, uh, when there was someone that had a severe mental health issue. They would mockingly send them to the psychiatrist, but they called the psychiatrist the wizard. So it was like, okay, you're having trouble. We'll go see the wizard. We'll send you to the wizard and get you taken care of. And so now I'm very supportive of traditional masculinity. I believe very strongly in it. I'm a committed Christian. I believe in compatible. I'm compatibilist, that we love and serve each other, and we have different roles. We have different functions. That men are providers. That men do serve in that role, and and so I don't want to give too much credence to you have these kind of extremes today. You have the hyper alpha male uh, out there, and then you have kind of the more softer perspective. We got like sigma and beta and all this stuff. But I think that it's an important reality to understand that being a man and being strong is being able to admit that you're not an island, you're not alone, that you do need help at times. That's what we were made for. And there's strength in being able to recognize what your need is. And like I said, and I gotta be careful with sometimes you might hear me stumbling around a little bit. I'm new to YouTube and I want to be very careful with some of the criteria here. There's certain things that you can't say, and I want to honor that. I'm excited about this platform, and I hope that this is helpful. If this is, by the way, please subscribe, follow along, share this with anyone you think might be valuable to. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments as well. But so it is harder. It is harder for men in that, and that's something that I do hope that over time. And I think in some ways we've taken some good steps there, but it is a very hotly debated issue today, and we live in a very hostile world where extremes and separation of worldviews and ideologies have really brought a lot of division. But so that's some of what's going on with why this is something you tend to find more prevalent. You have higher rates of things with men. That's not to say that women don't struggle with it. They absolutely do. I've known many over the years who have worked through things, who are great people, who are gone through recovery, who have dealt with a lot of these issues, who are doing great. And there's a lot of good programs out there. There were sister programs, no longer bound as a men's only program. There were sister programs out there, and it was really great to see other people working through their stuff. But there's a lot of it is tied up, I think, in society with the understanding of what it is for us to be men. But now let's look at the other side. So solitude, think of it as is hiding. You're giving into shame. You come home from work and you just need to drink to unwind, and it starts off as this kind of small withdrawing. It's a negative feed loop where your thoughts, you're an echo chamber. Whatever you think, you don't have to take any accountability. You don't have to listen to anyone else. You just do your own thing. And it's easy to start endorsing whatever thoughts we have in that. And on the other hand, you have solitude. Solitude is a practice that I love very much today. It's significantly different than what I experienced. Unlike isolation, where you're running away from something, solitude is where you're running to something. It's intentional, it's not reactive, it's usually time constrained, it's not ongoing and recurring. It's an intentional disconnecting from everything else. In fact, one of the other things I liked about being in that rehab program was you were completely disconnected from the outside world. Even visitations, family visitations for a while, none of that. You just come here, be a part of the program, be in the brotherhood. We had general time, we had a lot of solitude time, no media, no phones, internet, no TV, none of that stuff. And it was amazingly healing, absolutely amazing healing. So, solitude is where you seek to reorient and to process your thoughts. And if you find yourself today withdrawing, maybe you're not 100% sure what it is that you're feeling or going through, but just ask yourself a question: are you running from something? Are you hiding from something? If so, what are you hiding from? What happens if you stop hiding from it? What would that look like? if you're new to solitude, it's going to be uncomfortable. We live in a world where we can't go to the bathroom without our cell phones. We can't eat, we can't watch movies, we can't have dinner with family or friends or be anywhere without our phones. I've struggled with it too. There's so much peace and relief in intentionally putting a stop to that, withdrawing. And withdrawing in solitude can be just taking a walk, just shutting everything off 30 minutes, 40 minutes before bed. When you wake up first thing in the morning, whatever your schedule is like to get ready, no social media, just spend some time thinking, praying, reading. I like to read scripture. I'm a Christian. For those of you who are, I would certainly encourage that. For those of you who aren't, there's a lot of good things that you can read and just get the mind going, or sit and think. One of the lost arts of the world today with technology, which is great, I love technology, I'm super excited about it, is just stopping and thinking and processing things. And one of the reasons we are so flummoxed and distracted is because we try to multitask with, I'll do this while I'm doing this, and I'm eating, and then I'm watching this video, and it's on productivity, so I'm being productive, but you're really not. You're just exhausting yourself and giving kind of this half-connected effort. And then there's no time to just stop and shut everything off and just focus. I would encourage journaling. Just sit down with a pen and paper. You don't have to write anything. Sometimes you write something, shred it, throw it out, or save it, look at it again in a couple of years and see where you're at. There's something powerful about a pen and a paper. Like me, I like to write my notes out for my talks. I am a writer, and I spend a lot of time doing that, and it's helpful. It helps me process my thoughts. I tend to have a very overactive mind. I love to think. I love to contemplate things. I was an undergrad philosophy major. Really great time for me. I love the things that I've learned and the way I learned how to think. And sometimes it can be too much. So just being able to start putting things down on paper, and whether it's I'm doing a YouTube talk, or I used to do a lot of public speaking. I love public speaking. It's actually more of a challenge for me getting used to sitting down in front of a camera. I normally love the audience interaction. I love that prep. Um, and but it's great. This is the new world, and I got to do a lot of this in my former career as a physician recruiter. Did a lot of talks and consults, and I really do love it. And so I'm excited about this. And again, hopefully this is beneficial, valuable to you. But uh, seeking solitude, it's important. I would highly encourage trying it. If you're in isolation, just stop and be honest with yourself. What are you running from? Why are you running? What happens if you stop? Yes, it is going to be uncomfortable, but it's a spiral. It only furthers the disconnection from yourself, truth, reality, God, family, friends, um, well-being, and it doesn't get better. It just gets worse and worse and worse. And think about it this way: if no one sees you, addiction will be the only thing that does. And addiction can be very broad here. Obviously, my background is substance uh, and other things. Substance like doom scrolling. I want to do a talk on doom scrolling. It's absolutely terrible. But there's a lot of things that addiction doesn't have to just be substances. Gambling, pornography. So I hope I can. I don't know if I can say that here. I hope I can. But there's a lot of things out there that people struggle with and can be very powerful and overwhelming. And when you isolate and you withdraw, you find yourself uh, developing addictive habits, or just increasing ones that you already have. So try to practice mindfulness by being intentional. Again, not reacting, just being intentional. There's a lot of ways to do that. Just take a walk, spend a few minutes at a time. Know that it's going to be uncomfortable, but I promise you, if you do this and you're able to just shut everything out, spend some time processing and thinking, it's going to be a great and wonderful experience. And I certainly hope that's the best for you. If this was helpful, please watch this other video, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.